giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda Hyundai. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. Yeah. June 8th, 2022. Crazy to think about it. We are in June right now. Wild, man. Had a good time yesterday at the Home Run Derby. We'll talk a little bit about that. Micah Parsons went big hurt on him yesterday, man. That was fun to watch. We got a practice update in the roundup, and then coming out of that, we'll talk about some Pro Bowl potential. Now, I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill reserve guys and things like that. No, I'm talking about guys that I think will earn a Pro Bowl spot or could earn a Pro Bowl spot, whether it be because they're raising their level of play or because of their statistics, which I think I'm going to start off with the first one, a surprising one. We won't do it right now after the roundup, but a surprising one given all the hoopla surrounding him. But, yeah. We'll jump into that a little bit later, man. But I appreciate you guys jumping in. We are getting to that point, man, where we are really hitting this phase of the offseason where we all hate, where there's not much going on. But fortunately, OTAs, open portion to the media, will be back later this week. I think tomorrow, actually. So Friday, we'll try to get somebody on here to talk about what they saw down there. But until then, all we can really talk about is what the players have said. And at the Home Run Derby yesterday, Dak had some things to say. So did Micah, who is hilarious, man, and a few other players. So we'll talk a little bit about that. It was a pretty fun day. If you saw me there, that's what's up. If you didn't, you can check me out on Saturday at the celebrity softball game where Michael Irvin, Dak, and Zeke will be there. So we'll be there, part of the sponsorships here, A to Z. So check us out there if you haven't. I'll know Thursday how many tickets left we have to give away. Not many, but I'll know Thursday. So if you're interested, I'll give the details Thursday morning. So make sure you tune in for that, because that'll be the last day we'll do the ticket giveaway. You're funny, Professor O. Shout out to the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
I can tell you something right now. Tristan Hill ain't one of them. We'll just get that right out the way, Professor O. He ain't one of them. But could you imagine? Jarvis, interesting you say TP. Sometimes I do things on the thumbnail just to throw you off. I'll leave it at that. What's up, Bomb Squad? Let's see who we got in the building. I got to go over here on the tube. Jarvis, Joey, PZ, C. Nix, Lemitra, TC915, Adam, Matt, Iceberg, Q says, I got your favorite WWE belt in the background. Yeah, the winged belt and the circle belt are my two favorite belts of all time, man. Of all time. Captain America, D.A. Lee, also the Intercontinental, the white one, man. Sick. Anthony T. Moore was good. And Matthew Tisdale, Stephen White, Toxic Tom, Bernie Account, Antoine Swain, Ruben S. Who else we got up in here? I said Stephen White, Brandon C. Set it off, Chris in the building, Mackenzie two times, Peter Rizzo, James Ruff, CJ Richards, what's up? Jermaine Underwood, Jesse Falls, David J. Bo Jelks. I mean, y'all came in here kind of early. I noticed that in the when I posted this at about 8-ish 8-ish. So it's a lot of y'all up in here, man. I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all are the best. That's why y'all are the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Real quick before we get into the roundup, did you guys notice? I don't even know if it's in here. Let me see if it's still at the top. So if you didn't notice, you have to be a subscriber to comment now in the live streams. What I'm trying to do with this is exhaust all avenues to stop these bots. I think I did this one time before and kept forgetting to put it back on. But we're going to see. I'm going to try to do it for the rest of the week if I remember. And if it works, man, this is what we're going to have to do because, boy, these bots is crazy. Like, I appreciate y'all. And see, Lamitra, I thought you was a bot just now. I mean, can y'all blame me? Let me see if I can bring this up. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Look. I thought she was a bot, y'all. Go ahead and spit it. Because that's what they be doing. You better be careful, Lamitra. Thought you was a bot. You was about to get blocked. But we're going to see if we can get this thing fixed and hopefully, you know, they can get out of here. If not, man, I'm going to have to write me a stern letter to the YouTube community because YouTube tripping with this, man. They tripping. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into this roundup. Got some news. I got a Micah Parsons home run video y'all got to see from yesterday, man.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Yes, indeedy. This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. They're more than just a fitness club. They provide the tools, support, and resources you need to achieve your goals. State-of-the-art tools, state-of-the-art resources. One of the best gyms around here in Texas. So check out any of the 13 different locations. Get your gym on, get your summer body right, and just get healthy even if you're not trying to get your summer body right. It's about health. It's about the fitness journey, right? Or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. So, like I talked about at the start of the show, we went to the Home Run Derby, Zach and I, yesterday, and it was just a cool little event to go to. There were, I want to say, like 6 or 7 participants: Dak, Zeke, AB, LVE, Micah, Lamb, and Diggs. I think they participated, but a lot of the rest of the team was there. All the rookies were there. Thought that was pretty cool. So LVE won the Derby. Right? He won the Derby, but Micah stole the show. And I say win because he didn't hit the most home runs. He just hit the most money balls or whatever the hell that means. So, you know, that's why he won the Derby, and I use air quotes. But Micah, boy, this dude, what can he not do? It's ridiculous. He hit a baseball, 2 of them, out of the entire park. I'm not talking about over the little white fence they use. I ain't talking about over the real fence, into the damn streets. Somebody's car probably got hit because of Micah Parsons. And Zach got a great video of it, so I'm going to play it here right now. Young Big Hurt right there. He said he can't drop a puck. He can't. Man, he's just a fun kid, man. My man did a try around at a home run derby. You just gotta love it. He really had the energy buzzing at the beginning of that derby, man. But yeah, it was really cool to see that. TC915, you're hilarious. He said he can't drop a puck. That's one thing he can't do. That's one thing he can't do. Yeah, Gregory said with his $500 bat. Yeah, he went out and bought a bat. This is how competitive he is. They said you won't be able to hit no homer. This boy goes out and gets a $500 bat from Dick's Sporting Goods, and it hits about 15 of them yesterday. Really fun event. He talked about how the team, he's starting to learn every player and what they like to do. And he talked about this a little bit last year, too, when he was a rookie, man. Like, this dude's mentality is just different. And the bonding he does with his teammates and just the energy he brings, I really hope that it can continue to spread through this team and good things can happen because of it. He had a great quote, too, yesterday. He said, "I keep telling you, I don't run on regular gas. This is diesel." Boy ain't lying, man. That boy ain't lying. The preseason schedule was finalized yesterday. Now, I know you're probably like, wait, it already came out. True. The Cowboys preseason schedule came out a few weeks ago, but that last game, there was a TBD to be decided for the Seahawks game. They finally settled on it. It'll be Friday, August 26th at 8 p.m. In Dallas. Now, remember this year, the Cowboys are only going to play 3 games, I think, for the first time in preseason, because last year, when there was only 3 games, they actually played 4 because of the Hall of Fame game. So likely that Chargers game will be the dress rehearsal game for the Cowboys. So if you're in LA and you want to go see the dress rehearsal, that's where you'll have to go. Probably that second game. You may see a series in game 1. I'm going to be really interested to see how Mike McCarthy handles this, because this will be the first time in Mike McCarthy's life they've only had 3 preseason games. And 4, it was easier to kind of know what was going to happen. First game, starters didn't do much at all. Second game, they got something. Third game, dress rehearsal. Fourth game, backups. I wonder how they handle it this year. We'll see. I'll likely be at the Seattle game. I really wanted to go to the Chargers game if I was going to be out camp around that time, but very possible I'll probably be at camp earlier than that. But I'll let y'all know just in case y'all out there. We can link up, man. Did Walmart buy the Broncos? Yes. They did for like $4.5 billion. So just imagine what the Cowboys are worth. Jeez. And then finally, Dak Prescott, who did not win the home run derby, but he hit a couple homers. He was at the derby, and he talked to the media after, and he talked about Jalen Tolbert, who has returned back to practice. So he's full go at practice right now. Obviously, it's not open to the media until tomorrow, so we'll have more updates on how Jalen Tolbert looks with Dak. But very important to get him back this week, man. I know it's June, but the wide receiver room is no longer veteran Cooper, veteran Michael Gallup, and then ridiculous rookie or young buck and CeeDee Lamb, guys that you can count on 1, 2, 3. It's now CeeDee Lamb, rookie Jalen Tolbert, James Washington, who's new, and a bunch of young guys that we're going to see what happens here. So the more reps they can get together, the better, and it's extremely important to get out there sooner rather than later. But it's also important not to rush these dudes back in June, too. Let's keep that in mind, Cowboys Nation. Another nugget that Dak dropped talking to the media is he brought up Dalton Schultz. You know, of course, they were going to ask him about Dalton Schultz because that's his security blanket, right? That's his guy. And he basically said, you know, he spoke to Dalton Schultz, and they're going to figure it out. You know, he was like, hey, man, listen, I've been in this situation before. I know where he's coming from the contract situation. A lot of these players know where they're coming from, where he's coming from, because Stephen Jones, the way he operates. But he knew this was coming down the pike because of the conversations they had. So Dalton Schultz, Dak have been in communication. It sounds like, you know, it's something they knew was going to happen, and he's not overly concerned about it. And I don't know that we really should be concerned in general about it until we get to mandatory minicamps and then training camps. Then we start talking about what is Dalton Schultz really, really going to do. But that is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Let's get into the chat right quick. So you guys are talking about the preseason games. Toxic says, Sky, you going to camp? Yes, I will be at Oxnard. Not quite sure on the date yet. I've been talking to Vach about when exactly we're going to go, so not sure yet. And then I'll be at the practices when they come back to Dallas. And probably, honestly, some of those practices are going to be in the morning. Hopefully we're credentialed by then. We'll see. But if not, whatever. The morning shows may be a bit funny during that period. Honestly, the morning shows may get a little interesting starting mid-June. I'll let you guys know. From a personal standpoint, they may start even later. Or there may be a day I'm not on air a week I'm not on air 5 days a week. But it'll only be for about a month and a half stretch. So I'll let you guys know. Let's get back into this chat. Grand Rising, Jay. What's good, brother? What's good? Hey, Kel, listen, man. You don't got to apologize to me for being late. Talk about me, Mr. Ish. Jacob says, can we meet up at Texas Live? You mean for the games? I'll be there for games. I'll be there Saturday because the Home Run Derby is at the Rangers Stadium. But in general, you have to catch me when I'm around there, brother, because that's in Arlington. That's about a half hour out, which it's not a crazy drive. But, yeah, when I'm down there, I'll let you guys know, man. Come through. Sure. You thought I was going camping, Toxic. Come on, man. You do know that Nah, I don't do camping no more. I did camping with my grandpa back in the day. I don't fool with the outdoors like that. Not like that, man. Not like that. All right, so today's show will not be long. I promise you that. There's not a whole ton to get at today. But if you want it to be, it's up to you. Call in 351-999-3787. Today I want to talk about a handful of guys that I think can be Pro Bowlers. And again, not from, he made the Pro Bowl because boom, decided to quit the Pro Bowl or not participate. Now he's the 8th alternative. That's not what I'm talking about. When I think of Pro Bowl, I'm thinking of, okay, I know it's ridiculous, right? I know nowadays it's popularity contest. I'm not talking about that either. I'm talking about deserving to get there, and I'm talking about the statistics actually matter. One of the two or both. And I've got a handful of dudes I think have a chance to either get back to the Pro Bowl or get to the Pro Bowl for the first time. And the first one that I'm going to talk about here is going to be interesting. Oh, Jacob, you're in San Antonio. Well, shoot, if you listen, you got to hit me up. If you're coming from San Antonio to Texas Live and you're here, let me know. I imagine you're coming down here for a reason, not just to go to Texas Live, but get with me, brother. The first one, I'm going to kind of pick up where we left off from the roundup. Oh, and I'm going to ask y'all at the end of all this, too. Not the end of all of it, but the end of each player. Do you think this player will be a Pro Bowler? In fact, I'll ask you right now. Dalton Schultz. I promise you I'm not trolling y'all. I promise you I am not trolling y'all. And before you're like, whoa, Scott, I thought you didn't want to pay him all this. But I don't. I truly don't. But if we're keeping it a beat, he kind of could have been a Pro Bowler last year. The numbers are there. Those are Pro Bowl numbers if we keep it a beat. But here's why, Cowboys Nation, don't y'all beat me up. Don't y'all throw the tomatoes at me. This is why I'm bringing him up, because I was thinking, and I'm like, okay, there's no more Mark Cooper. Michael Gallup might not be back for about 4 games. Dalton Schultz targets over the last 2 years. 89 targets in 2020, 104 targets in 2021. All he would have to do is increase those numbers that you see on that top line there by a little bit. And I think he'd be worthy of a Pro Bowl. That don't mean I'm paying the boy $15 million a year, but I'm just saying I think he could be Pro Bowl worthy because the numbers would indicate that, right? So I think this one's tricky. I do, because his numbers could increase, right? But his level of play could remain the same. You're probably like, well, that don't even make sense. It does. Because I don't know that Dalton Schultz can physically do anything more to reach a different level from a physical standpoint. But from a production standpoint, really doesn't matter how physically gifted you are or aren't. If you're given the right amount of targets or opportunities and you're efficient with those targets and opportunities, you'll get numbers. Numbers put you in the Pro Bowl. Brian Rose says he may get 90 plus targets. He got 104 last year. I'm going to go ahead and guess and say he'll get 120 plus this year. And that might even be a little bit lower. Gregory says, Sky, not unless the Cowboys win the bowl. I'm imagining you mean paying for him. Just taking a guess here. So do we think Dalton Schultz could be a Pro Bowler next year? Look, they all laughing. Peasy says no. Gregory, no. Swain says yes. Twan says yes. Matisse just had to laugh. AJ, no. Hell nah, says Derek. No. Jaw says nah, fam. Professor O says yes. Y'all, you feel where I'm coming from, Professor O? I'm not saying like Dalton Schultz is like the best tight end in the league or anything like that. But Pro Bowl weird, man, because if you get enough numbers, you could be a Pro Bowler. And I think Dalton Schultz, his numbers could be to the point where it's not like, oh, he's a fifth alternative. 85 catches, 900 yards, and 9 touchdowns is Pro Bowl, bro. That's a really damn good season, keep it a bean at tight end, but that's Pro Bowl. So, yeah, I mean, I must say yes. Swain said the numbers are the numbers. He can make it as an alternative. So, KG from DC, the game we're playing today, we ain't doing alternatives because anybody, right? We could talk about anybody making it. So we're going to make it a little bit tougher. Can he make it flat out? The bulk of the tight ends are in the AFC. This is true. It's true. Swain believes his targets might drop. I actually think they'll increase. Big Sarge says no, he's too sensitive about his contract and mentally he won't be right. So, Big Sarge, can I play devil's advocate? What if he goes into this season, because contract years, we know what contract years can do. Look at the Cowboys last year. The Cowboys had how many players in a contract year last year? A ton. And a handful of them, Cedric Wilson, Dalton Schultz, D.A. These guys, Jayron Kearse, these guys all played above their previous level of play, and now they're getting paid. Why this isn't coming up? So maybe the contract will play in his favor, whether he is playing on the tag. I don't think he's sitting out, so he'll play on the tag. I don't think they're going to pay him. So y'all understand where I'm coming from with Dalton. I knew that one. I figured let me just get that one out the way right now because he's hot button topic. Y'all probably like, Sky, I thought you was just crapping on dude. Now I ain't crapping on him. I think Dalton Schultz is a good tight end. I just wouldn't pay him like the Wallers of the world. All right, let's get to we got James, a truck driver, on the horn early in the building. What's up, James?
Hey, what's up, Sky? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Good morning, man. If you're on the road, I hope you're driving safely.
Yeah, I am, man. I am about an hour out. Everything is good. Your first question is Dalton Schultz. Could he make the Pro Bowl? Me and Toxic Tom been going back in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. You got Kittles. Who else you got? You got Pitts.
Yeah.
I don't think he's better than Goddard. And don't get excited, Philly fans, because we still better than y'all. But those are 3 tight ends right there who I don't think he's better than.
So
and furthermore, go ahead.
So I don't see. That's not the question I wanted to present to y'all because I don't think he's better than those dudes either. But the Pro Bowl, you don't necessarily have to be better than those guys, but you could have a better year than them statistically, if that makes sense, right? Like Goddard is a good tight end, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that Schultz can have a better year. In fact, I'd argue he had a better year than Pitts.
It's funny you bring this topic up. It's funny you bring this topic up. So I was in Carolina this morning waiting on my load to get ready, and I looked up the stats of Pitts.
Yeah.
And I looked up the stats of somebody else. It didn't matter. I think it was one of them tight ends we should have signed. I can't remember his name. Pitts actually didn't. He wasn't far from Schultz. I think his was like 69 catches. He had over 1,000 yards. So the yak was better than Schultz.
He's better than Schultz, but his production wasn't. And I think the same thing could potentially happen again. Like Dalton Schultz might not have had 1,000 yards, but he had more catches and he had 7 more touchdowns. Like that I would take Dalton Schultz here over Kyle Pitts here. Kyle Pitts, 68 receptions, 1,026 yards, 1 touchdown. Dalton Schultz, 78 receptions, 806 yards, 8 touchdowns. I'd take Dalton Schultz here.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just that was the last part.
Oh, okay. I looked at Schultz game by game stats.
Yep.
And he had a lot of games where he didn't do much. If you look at his game by game, I think he had a stretch like from game 3 maybe to game 6 where he balled out. Other than that, he was an average Joe. I think he might have had another game like at the end. It might have been Philly or it might have been Washington where he had a good game. But other than that, he was just an average Joe.
Well, I don't think he's spectacular. I don't disagree with you there. I don't. He's not a guy that I think you're going into the game planning for from an offensive standpoint, let alone defensively, right? Like from an offensive standpoint, I don't think, at least it shouldn't be, going into the game saying, yo, we got to get Dalton to rock because he's just a mismatch and he's going to open things up and things like that. I don't think that was necessarily the case. So, it kind of makes sense that there's some games he wouldn't be that dude because Lamb might have went off or Cooper might have went off or Zeke might have went off or, well, Gallup wasn't there, but, Said or somebody else might have went off. I think he was a recipient of having those guys around him, but some of those guys aren't going to be there now, James. So
right.
he might be getting those targets.
Now you say he might be getting those targets. Now, in order to get the targets, you got to be open. Now, so we got CD. We don't know who's going to be on the other side. If the defense doesn't respect the other receiver, then you think they're going to concentrate. I'm not going to say concentrate on Schultz, but they can give him more, pay him a little bit more attention because of what's on the other side if the other side doesn't show out.
That's a fascinating question.
Or if CD don't show out.
You know why that is a very interesting question? It's something I've been thinking about for a while with him. I don't even know if you necessarily want to game plan to show Schultz extra attention. Because I know Schultz made people miss and things like that from time to time, but he's not like Kelsey or Waller or Andrews or Kittle. These guys, when you're game planning against these dudes, you say, we can't let them go off, right? We can't let them go off. If Schultz goes off, which whatever goes off is, the Cowboys probably aren't blowing you out type of situation moving forward. I mean, maybe last year because you had different weapons, but if Schultz is getting you 7 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown, but CeeDee Lamb is blanketed, Tolbert's blanketed, Gallup's blanketed, I pretty much guarantee you teams would take that, right? So it's interesting.
Absolutely.
It's like I will let Schultz do his thing because I don't think he's going to just kill me throughout the game. Whereas I don't want X, Y, and Z to do that to me because they can break open the game. So it's interesting because Bill Belichick said, hey, we got to make sure Schultz doesn't, he's big on third downs, and he is. He's big on third downs. He gets big in the red zone. So maybe you game plan at that point because if it's 3rd and 8 and we take away a CeeDee Lamb, he's coming to Dalton Schultz. But throughout the game, the entirety of it, I'd probably live with Dalton Schultz teeing off on me.
Yeah, this offense, this is going to be interesting, man. I hope Kellen Moore get his head out of his behind and use his 2 running backs the way he should. So maybe that can open it up for everybody else. I'm not sure about the wide receivers, and hell, I'm not even sure about Schultz. I don't know how he's going to come back. I mean, he's already pouting, so if he don't get his head on right, then he comes back and does what? I mean, it's going to be interesting. But,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. I got my popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn ready, man. Hey, good call, James. Appreciate you. You be safe out there on the road.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yep. Good call. This Schultz situation is fascinating. I think he's going to be fine. I think even with the contract situation, I think he's going to have a good year. How good of a year, that all depends. And the details of the year will matter in regards to contract negotiations moving forward with another team possibly. But as long as Schultz is available, I think he's going to be productive. You know what's crazy? I finally get a chance to see Joe in the damn chat. Shout out to Philly the podcast. I know you're like, whoa, Sky, wait a minute now. There aren't many Eagle YouTubers I respect, but let alone like. Joe is one of them. So I'm going to give some shout outs to Joe. Check out Philly the podcast. I think he does a show with James, Big Game James. Friend, is it called the friend enemy of friends? I'm sorry if I mixed it up, man, because I'm used to hearing the term frenemies, but it's somewhere along those lines. But Joe's a good Eagles podcaster, man. And I never catch him in the chat. I always go back, critique my shows, film study, because I do my own film study. And then I end up seeing Joe's comment in the section. I'm like, damn it, I didn't even see him in there, man. So salute to you, bro. You do fantastic work. Keep grinding. But when it comes to the Eagles,
I ain't scared of you, mother.
I just ain't. And here's the thing about Joe, y'all. I don't got to give Joe a coloring book and crayons and a helmet and a bib and all that stuff. I don't got to give him that. He can come to the grown folk table. He can come sit at the grown folk table. So salute to you. Let's get one more caller in. Then I'm going to get to the second player that I think will get back to Pro Bowl potential or Pro Bowl level of play. And a lot of y'all don't like it. And I don't like it. So we'll talk about it. 213, what it is, what it do.
What's going on, Sky? What's going on, man? It's your boy Mel. What's cracking with you?
Mel, this pisses me off that I can't say your number. Pisses me off. What up,
I said,
man?
look, maybe he might remember this song, man.
Can't,
but
bro.
I figured
It's so many numbers. I just can't, man. What up, though?
Man, this Schultz thing, man, it's fascinating to me because I feel like Schultz really does have the organization. He's in a good position because if you're looking at this roster right now, and you're looking at this quarterback, you're looking at this offense, Schultz is really the one outside of CD. Schultz is really kind of your second best option as far as proven, reliable. You know what you're gonna get. Dak is gonna lean on Schultz. The only way Schultz does have a backslide is really what the last caller presented, and I know you guys kind of had difference of opinion on that, but it's going to be interesting to see, do teams go, okay, let's take away Schultz, let's take away CD, and let's see how this offense works. If teams go at it that way and say, hey, let's take away Schultz and let's take away CD, what can this offense do? If that happens in the first 4 games without Gallup, and we don't know how long Gallup is out, it's going to be very interesting to see what direction this thing goes in.
I think that's why it's important, Mel, for this run game to get off to a good start again. It's very important because you're going to need people to respect Zeke again, bro, and Tony, and come and fill that and fill that box up so we can get that single high. You're going to need it, bro. You're going to need it because you don't got those weapons to start the season as you had last year. The weapons that are respected.
Well, you got 2 guys on this offense that can break a game open. That's CeeDee Lamb and that's Tony Pollard. Those are your 2 guys that can break a game open. They, for whatever reason, I don't know if they're not sold on Tony. I don't know what it is, but in situations where they have needed the game to be broken open, he's been sitting on the bench. In San Francisco, where they needed offensive sparks, he was sitting on the bench. So I don't know what it is with Tony. But back to the Schultz thing, Schultz is looking at it like this: hey, you got rid of Cooper, You got rid of Ced Wilson. Those were your other. Those were the other guys I was competing against targets for. They're gone now. So now it's me, and it's dangerous.
And Gallup's not available for a little bit. So
Gallup's not available. The rest of these guys are unproven. I've never had a season where I've had less. I mean, well, not never, but I'm more productive than your wide receivers.
Yeah.
Than your other wide receivers. So from Schultz's standpoint, he's going, hey, the thing with Schultz though, he's just not a game breaker. He's not gonna change the game for you. He's not gonna break it open. And we got to kind of have to stop disrespecting Witten, I feel, because everybody keeps saying like, oh, Schultz is just a Witten. Some of y'all only remember Witten
Wait a minute.
after like 2010. But before that, Witten was a guy that would have 100-yard games. Schultz does not have a 100-yard game in his career, even with all the damn targets. He has 0 100-yard games.
If people are saying he's just a Witten, you're sadly mistaken. Now his numbers have been Witten-esque last year, I should say. His numbers were Witten-esque last year, but just think about Witten doing that for a decade and being one of the best tight end blockers in the game for like a decade. Like you said, I think people are thinking about Witten his last like 4 years with the Dallas Cowboys, where his talent started to diminish as he got older. But Witten is, come on, man, it's one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Witten was a guy that got down the seams. Witten was a guy that could run after the catch.
One of the best route runners I've ever seen from a tight end. Some of the best hands ever. Can block with the best of them in his prime. I mean, this dude was a different animal, so let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Yeah, no, Schultz is not on that level. But, it's tough to see because a lot of times the Pro Bowl is really based off of your impact. Do you make impact plays? Do you make plays that are going to garner attention? Not only from other teams, but also from the fans, because fans vote on the Pro Bowl. Right. I don't see Schultz doing that, regardless of the numbers. Like, he doesn't make impact plays. He's not going to make.
I disagree.
He's not going to be on SportsCenter.
I disagree with that part, because if you're talking about fans, if y'all go back and remember, it's when the fan voting opened and for a long time, guess who was the number one center in the Pro Bowl voting? Tyler Biadasz. So fans, I wouldn't say that. If fans is voting for Tyler Biadasz, they'll vote for Dalton Schultz if he's putting up those numbers.
They'll vote for Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
We'll see. That'll be interesting.
So, but that's why, Mel, I said let's remove all that bull crap. Right? We're talking about Pro Bowl level play and statistics, or both, or one or the other. Right? Like, is their play Pro Bowl worthy, and are their numbers Pro Bowl worthy? And in Schultz's case, in Schultz's case, I think the numbers could be worthy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if we're gauging it strictly off of production, and we're gauging it strictly off of what the numbers say, sure.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to preface.
Without a doubt. I think you just said it.
That's why I wanted to preface it during.
Did Pitts make the Pro Bowl last year?
I don't know.
Did Pitts make the Pro Bowl last year?
I have no clue.
Okay. Well, if Pitts made it, for sure Schultz could make it, man. But the Schultz thing is interesting. I'm excited to see how this offense plays out. Going to be interesting, man. But I'm going to let the show keep rocking. Let's move on to the next subject, and I'm going to jump back on and then chat, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, let me just preface this one more time. This is what I'm talking about is not the Pro Bowl we all hate, right? Like, oh, how the hell did I don't know the name Tyler Biadasz get into the Pro Bowl, even though he didn't? But he's the 8th alternative. The popular no. Pro Bowl level play, which I believe in the title I put, and the statistics, right? The numbers, and I think in Dalton's case the numbers could be there. The second player. This one is going to be interesting. I think he get back to it, but it all depends on health. And I'm talking about Demarcus Lawrence. Another guy not a lot of Cowboy fans like, man. Just don't like him. And the only 2 times he's been to the Pro Bowl, I think it was due to the topic of conversation today. That was earned. That wasn't a reserve. That wasn't none of that stuff. 14.5 sacks, 10.5 sacks, and a litany of other things he did well. I think it was like 17, 18. 2017, 2018, which a long time ago. But if you go back and look at Demarcus Lawrence, and I'm sorry, he did not sign a 2-year, $10 million deal. If that's for somebody else. If you go back and look at Demarcus Lawrence's season, and I'm talking about even in week 1. Let me see if I can get that out of here so I don't confuse. I don't want y'all to be confusion. He was off to a roaring start, in my opinion. A roaring start. Meaning, let me move that out the way. That might confuse some people. Meaning in week 1, he had the forced fumble. I think he had like 5 tackles, a bunch of pressures on Tom. Now, Tom was getting that rock out pretty damn fast. But I was like, all right, man. It looks like we're getting D-Law back. Healthy D-Law, then boom. Messes up his leg there. Breaks his foot. He's out. Then he comes back. And I hope, Cowboys Nation, Demarcus Lawrence got your respect back when he returned. Because he was not the Demarcus Lawrence that y'all love to hate. He was actually putting up not only good numbers, but really damn good tape. He had 22 pressures, 3 sacks, a pick, 12 stops, 6 quarterback hits, 1 forced fumble, a touchdown. And only missed 1 tackle. He was credited with missing 1 tackle. But he even made those plays that Mel was talking about, making those game-changing plays or those big plays, the highlight type of situations where, it gets you, I guess, on the ballot or what have you. But let's make no mistake about it. Demarcus Lawrence was impactful. He just wasn't healthy. Year 2 under Dan Quinn, you get some help from Demarcus Lawrence. Micah Parsons behind him or next to him. Improved defensive tackle play. That's always important for a guy like D-Law. And we'll see what happens opposite of him. But I think Demarcus Lawrence can put himself back into that contention. I already believe he's one of the better defensive ends in this league in general. But to be in the Pro Bowl, you got to do certain things, right? Your numbers got to get there. And 5 sacks ain't going to do it unless you got like 7 forced fumbles or something crazy. But now we're talking about anywhere between 8 to 11 sacks is what Demarcus Lawrence is going to have to probably get, combined with the forced fumbles, combined with the tackles, and other numbers. I think he can do it. So I ask y'all, I think Demarcus Lawrence can get back to Pro Bowl level play. I think he got back to it in week 13 on. It's a matter of can he stay healthy to remain. Let me scroll back up here. D-Law is elite. He's AEW, all elite, says Toxic Tom. Full season of D-Law will get close to 10 sacks as D-Shift. That's how I view D-Law. I don't view D-Law as a guy. I know he got 14 sacks before, and that's what got him paid. But I'm not looking at him in that manner. I'm looking at him as a 7 to 11 sack guy. But it's other things that he does that I think makes him a top defensive end. But if D-Law can give me 9 sacks next year and he's still one of the elite run defenders and he's getting you those forced fumbles like he's been doing, the pressures, the tackles for loss, yeah. Sure. Jacob says, how do you not like D-Law? Well, hey, man. Believe it or not, there are people who do not like Demarcus Lawrence. Especially after my man took a discount. I mean, what is there not to like anymore? D-Law said, hey, Steven, you don't want to pay me, cut me. Steven said,
the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
So he went to Daddy, and Daddy said, what the hell are you doing, Steven? What the hell are you doing? Go make this right with Demarcus Lawrence. So Demarcus Lawrence said, all right, listen, I'm not taking a pay cut in a sense, but I'll redo my contract. And he redid the contract, which freed up a ton of money in cap space because, according to D-Law's words, man, go out there and get some impact players. You know what they did? They went out and got Ryan. Hell no.
Hell no. To the no.
They went out and used D-Law's money for Ryan No. But y'all hate that man. Crazy. He makes a difference, says Schiff. Never lost my respect. Me either, man. Me either. Craig says, I don't need him for sacks. As long as he get them, though. I don't need him to get me 14 of them. Madden gave him... I love CT Madden. He come in here with the Madden stuff. I used to be big on Madden CT. But he said Madden gave him the X Factor back. Because he is an X Factor, damn it. Yeah, see, a lot of y'all not following the directions here. I don't care necessarily about the Pro Bowl voting in the way it is either, Craig, but we're talking about Pro Bowl level play. Yes, he can. Big Sarge, yes. Marcelo says D-Law's our best run stopper, one of the best in the league, period. Clumsy says, I see another 5 sacks. Well, let's see. If he gets 5 sacks, let's see what the other numbers are looking like. But if he plays 16 games with this defense, this scheme, this coach, Micah Parsons, it's hard for me to envision just 5 sacks when he had 3 when he came back in week 13. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get back to the phone lines because they are jumping. We got 202 on the horn. What's up, 202?
What's going on, brother?
What's good with you, man?
Hey, nothing, man. Been a Cowboy fan for about 35 years, and I was hearing, y'all discuss the offense. And yeah, it's been a minute. The good and the bad. I was hearing, you and the other guy discuss, the offense and the team and all that. I actually don't have an issue with what it is we did in the offseason. One of the reasons is when the Cowboys was at the top of their game, everybody knows they were running the ball.
Sure.
That led the way for us. I feel like, and this is, I think this is for any sport. I feel like you can have too much of something, and I feel like last year we had too many receivers. We had with the emergence of Dalton Schultz coming into the picture, trying to get Tony Pollard the ball, trying to keep Ezekiel Elliott healthy, trying to get Amari Cooper, who's a $20 million man, trying to get him catches. CeeDee Lamb is a first-round draft pick. Cedric Wilson was emerging. It's too many people. So, I've been hearing a lot of people say they don't like the decisions we're making because it's not the sexy way of doing things. I like it, though, because now this is going to force us to get back to running the football. And hopefully Dak can learn how to read defenses a little better, another year under his belt. I like what we did. I like what we did on the defensive side of the ball. People are sleeping
wait, before you go to defense. Before we go to the defense, I can't let you off the hook right there. How on one hand, so you're saying too much talent is a bad thing?
I believe so, yeah. Well, I'm not saying too much talent. What I'm saying is we had too many guys so it's only one football. It's just like basketball. It's only one basketball to go around. And you can't throw the ball to.
It's only one basketball to go around, and you see teams going out and getting the best players to put on that team. But that's different. So all right, so you said you can have too much talent. That's that one. Then you said they had too much talent, but were you complaining about that talent in the first 7 games when they were 7-2?
Yeah, I never liked the way our offense was so pass happy. I never liked it.
But they weren't. They weren't. They were running the rock, like you said. And the respect that the receiving core was getting allowed teams to have to choose how they wanted to play them. So in retrospect, the talent that you said it could be too much actually helped the Cowboys be able to go and do multiple things offensively and open up the run game and be dynamic in the pass game. So I'm trying to figure out why that would be a bad thing to have so many players that defenses have to account for.
Well, the reason being is, so it's not the talent factor. It's Amari Cooper, based on his salary, he required you to throw him the ball at least 10 times a game. At least 10 to 15 times a game. when you got CeeDee Lamb, I believe he's the number one receiver, and I'm glad he got the opportunity. You gotta get him the football. You had Cedric Wilson last year who emerged. You gotta find ways to get him the football because he was too talented. He showed what he can do. And you gotta figure out ways to run the ball with Tony Pollard. And you gotta figure out ways to give your $90 million running back the ball. And you gotta figure out ways to get the ball to an emerging tight end in Dalton Schultz. It was too much.
Brother, listen. You gotta hear what you're saying here, man. A lot of those dudes you're talking about, you didn't have to find a way to get Cedric. Nobody's game planning to get Cedric Wilson the ball. Cedric Wilson was a product of what was around him. Same thing with Dalton Schultz. They weren't game planning. They weren't saying, "Hey, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, we ain't gonna game plan for y'all. We're going to game plan to get Schultz the ball," right? Like those guys were a part of the machine. I don't think they were the main parts of the engine. So I gotta disagree with you right there, man. So think about this for a second. If you take away all those pieces that were giving away all that attention, and you say, "Hey, man, we just gonna simplify it, and we're only gonna use 2 guys on offense as our main guys," wouldn't that make it easier for a defense to defend you?
I don't think so. I mean, and the reason why I say that is because you got quite a few teams in the league who don't have a lot of options, but they figure out ways to get their stars the ball.
Because they have a what? A scheme that is proven in that. Tell me, what scheme has your boy given you that has given you confidence to say that? I'm not saying you're wrong, but we haven't seen that from Kellen Moore. We've seen it from Sean McVay. We've seen it from Kyle Shanahan. We've seen it from Bill Belichick. We've seen it from Andy Reid, even though he got guys.
Check it out. You got to give him the and I'm not Kellen Moore. I'm not trust and believe. I understand, there's some things that need to be, fixed and reworked there because how they played earlier, the first 7 to 8 games of the season, especially after that New England game. After the New England game and, he hurt his calf or whatever it is, he hurt that being Dak. The play of the offense and the team, the defense was pretty good all year.
The defense was fine.
But the play of the offense definitely went down. It definitely went down. But see, I feel like, and I could be on this edge myself, but I feel like sometimes things can be overwhelming for a person that's making decisions like Kellen Moore. If you take away some of that, if you take away some of that,
that's scary. If that's scary, here's why it's scary. That means Kellen Moore was in over his head. Because if you give that type of talent to the McVays and the Shanahans and the Bieniemys and the Reeds and the McDaniels and all these other guys, boy, they'd be salivating at what they can do. What you just told me was it could be too much. Woo!
Yes.
I don't want that man to run my offense then, bro. I don't. I want him out.
And I don't. But at this point, who else you gonna bring in? It's Jerry's guy. Right now, clearly, and a lot of people keep saying Sean Payton in a couple years or maybe next year, but I think he's the coach waiting. I think that's what Jerry is waiting for. And I'm hoping.
Oh my goodness!
I'm praying.
You is not making me feel good. Said he's coaching waiting.
You don't see the writing on the wall? I
see the right. Look. I see the writing on the wall, brother, but I'm throwing paint over it.
Amen. All I'm saying is, if you were going to let him go, last year was the best opportunity to do that. And yet you not only had individuals in the media, fans, you had certain people on our own team talking about how the offense needs to open up. And in certain games, it still didn't open up. So my thing is if you wasn't going to let him go with all that going on, I highly doubt that it's going to happen.
I'll tell you this, brother.
I just don't.
What's your name?
Cook.
I tell you this, Cook. Mm-hmm. I would be 100% behind that because I kind of was in regards to Kellen Moore. It was looking like the Jason Garrett situation all the way up until Jerry Jones kind of gave a nod to Dan Quinn. Remember in the offseason, they interviewed him and they was like, hey, man, what do you think about Dan Quinn as a head coach? He said, oh, I think he could be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I said, huh? I think we should probably start paying attention to Dan Quinn possibly being that guy too. So the writing was definitely on the wall for Kellen Moore, and I didn't like it. So I threw paint over it. Now I'm putting Dan Quinn's name on it because it's very possible that DQ could be a guy over Kellen Moore. And honestly, he should be.
So let me ask you this. The only problem I have with that is I've seen Dan Quinn as a head coach.
And he went to the Super Bowl.
And he was up 28-3 and he lost.
Yeah, I don't blame Dan.
That's the ultimate failure.
I don't blame Dan either. But wait.
You're the head coach, sir. You're the head coach. It's your job to galvanize your team.
You're right. But what I'm saying is a guy that you're right. Okay, you're right. But you wouldn't. So you saying that Dan Quinn was a failure as a head coach?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if I'm looking for a head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, it won't be him.
Well, that's a different question. Wait. That's a different situation. You were talking about the writing being on the wall for a coach on the Cowboys, and you said it was Kellen. I don't want it to be Kellen either or Quinn. I'll go for somebody else. But if there was a writing on the wall, I think we should start looking at some of the handwriting being Dan Quinn as well as Kellen, not just Kellen alone. That's what I'm saying.
Now, let me ask you this. If Dan Quinn becomes the head coach, does he still focus more on defense or does he focus on everything?
I think he would focus. I think he would focus on defense. I think this is one thing I think Dan Quinn did learn or should have learned. When he was in Atlanta and he was at his best, he said, "Kyle Shanahan, this is your baby. I want nothing to do with it. I'm running. Okay. I'm running the defense. Right? That's what I'm going to do." Or he could do what Bruce Arians did, where he said, "Hey, dog, who was it? Todd Bowles? You got the defense. Brian Leftwich, you got the offense, and I mean all of it. And I'm just going to make sure and massage everything around. And I'll obviously focus more defensively than anything, but he could go one of those two routes. So I don't think he'd be one of those guys that will be involved in everything, and nor should he be because he's a fantastic defensive coordinator."
Let me ask you this: are you an at the moment type of person? Meaning, yeah, so let's say Kellen Moore comes into this season and he has the same type of start as we did last year, offense, explosive, doing really good things. And you like the way the offense, the direction it's going based off the season we had. Do you change your idea of him becoming a head coach?
Absolutely not, because head coach is a different animal. I said this last year, even when he was going on the street. I said, man, I got to give Kellen Moore props, brother. You're doing some good things here as an offense coordinator. I still don't want you as my head coach because you've got to be able to lead men. And when he was doing these interviews, it came out from some of these groups that were interviewing Kellen that they just didn't believe that he could lead these grown-ass men into battle. And I said that for years. I even asked former teammates, former coaches, and they all said the same thing. A quick, short answer. Because they didn't even go into detail. It was like, how are you even asking me this question, Will? And they would be like, no. just no. I would not be able to get behind this fella.
So let me ask you this. So let's say, me personally, I would rather Dan Quinn stay as our defensive coordinator.
Same.
That's just me. But I understand that, coordinators, their goal is to become head coach at some point in time. You're building up to be that guy on the team. So let me ask you this.
In closing, by the way, last question, all right?
Talk to me.
No, I'm saying this is the last question because I got to get to
it. Okay, so let me ask you this. If not Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn stays the defensive coordinator, who do you want to come in to be the head coach? Who's your dream head coach for this Cowboy team?
My dream head coach is gone already. So now I would have to go back into the lab and see who's available next year and who's allowed to.
Who was it?
It was Mike McDaniels. Who was it? Mike McDaniels.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, the run game coordinator for the Niners. He's now in Miami. I was hoping that I knew it would never happen because this is not how Jerry operates. But I would have definitely would have tore down the house to get Mike McDaniels and be like, "Listen, Dan, just stay with us." Because I think a Mike McDaniels-led offense and a Dan Quinn-led defense would have been fantastic. And McDaniels, I think, can reach these young players. But that's kind of who I would went with.
Okay. So right now, who are you looking for? Who are you looking at?
I'm not looking.
Yeah,
I'm not looking at the moment because I don't know who's available. Like, you knew who was becoming available mid-season because you start hearing insiders discuss who teams are allowing to do interviews. And I think towards the end of the season, maybe Professor O could tell me, there's a week in the season where these guys can go do interviews, and that's when you start knowing who can be potentially available. Unless you're talking college guys, which I'm not really looking at that right now either. So ask me this question. Call back in about week 14, and I should have an answer for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If it ain't Mike, right? It might be Mike. Who knows? But appreciate the call, man.
All right, brother.
A lot of stuff there. A lot of interesting things there. Y'all know how I feel. Y'all probably hate that I always do this, but I like to kind of pick at some of the things that was said. Okay, so why do you believe in this? Interesting. Less is more is a thing for sure, no doubt about it. But in sports, in regards to talent, man, that might be a first. That might be a first. I don't know. And if that's the case, if less has to be more because of your coordinator, that is a coordinator problem. And that's where the whole inexperience factor comes in. Kellen Moore's inexperience, if he couldn't handle all of these guys, that's a him problem. That ain't the talent. That's a him problem. All right, good stuff. Let's take a quick break. Take a sip of your coffee, some of your water, whatever. We'll talk about the ride of the week, and then we'll come back into it, and we're going to talk about the next player that I think could be Pro Bowl level. We'll get there. Should have been there to keep it a bean with you. But this week's ride of the week is the Freeman Mazda 2022 Mazda 3 hatchback. For buyers with champagne taste but only a sparkling cider budget, the 2022 Mazda 3 delivers a premium package at a normal compact car price. It's offered both as a sedan and hatchback, preferably a sedan for me, and can be equipped with optional all-wheel drive, a punchy turbo engine, and enough upscale features to be taken seriously. So check out the ride of the week, which is the 2022 Mazda 3 series at freemanmazda.net, or visit Freeman Mazda if you're in Texas, in Irving, Texas.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and reach for the sky. Here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Sometimes when I'm having these debates, I always think about what Quay said, man. Sky could be a lawyer. It's hilarious. I want to look into the chat so damn bad to see what y'all saying. And I miss all the good stuff y'all talking about here. Y'all be having y'all own debate in the chat, man. And it's good stuff in there, it looks like. Good stuff. But I can't go through them all. You peeped, hey, did you peep that? Set it off says sparkling cider budget. That wasn't even me. That's the review. I can't take credit for that. Hilarious though, ain't it? Hilarious. Champagne taste, but a sparkling cider budget. It's good stuff. All right, man. I think what I'm gonna have to do is, we're at about 9:24. We got a lot of time, man. Stick around. I got a lot of callers on the horn. We got some of our Bomb Squad callers. I want to get to y'all. Let me go ahead and get through this last person. It's just gonna be one more. I had two more, but I'm gonna just do this one last player. Then we're gonna get back to we're gonna end the show with the phone line because y'all are killing it today. Week 12, is that what it is? Or 12 days left. Thank you, Professor. I knew it was late in the season, so teams can start interviewing coordinators. 12 days left in the season. So, like I said, the caller won't give me a call back around week 14, week 15, where those rumors start circulating. I'll give you a name. Speaking of names, this next one, he's become a fan favorite. And I personally think he should have been a damn Pro Bowler last year, and he wasn't. And I think he will this year. He's the one that signed a 2-year, $10 million contract. But I'm talking about Jayron Kearse, a.k.a. J-Rock. Shout out to Okoye Media. I just think Jayron Kearse, I'm hoping it's not a 1-year hit type of thing. There's not too many players I try to go too overboard after 1 year with, but just watching Jayron, you don't see an accident, if that makes sense. You don't see him just stumbling into production. He's a smart player. He's a leader. I think he was a rock for this defense. And I also think it's something to say when you come in as a career special teams guy, for the most part, kind of been around the league a little bit. You don't come in as the dude, and then in a few weeks, you're being respected as the leader of the defense. That says a lot to me. That doesn't happen by accident. And last year, without a doubt, he got robbed. I personally think he should have been in over Budda Baker. But Budda Baker, again, that's the reputation stuff. And that's why today's show, I'm not trying to base it off that. I'm basing it off of play and statistically, or both. And I think he did both. 101 tackles, 10 pass breakups, 2 picks, 9 tackles for loss, a sack, 6 quarterback hits, 30 stops, and 3 missed tackles. Jayron was everywhere, literally everywhere. And it was almost kind of criminal that he wasn't a Pro Bowler. Now, if you go look at him guarding some of the top tight ends statistically, when he was on them, he shut them down. Shut him down. Shut him down. He shut him down. Now, we'll have to see that back-to-back years, but remember Byron Jones? Better yet, do you remember rookie Byron Jones? Rookie Byron Jones was a tight end eraser. Jayron was becoming that. Or he became that. His coverage skills were so good last year. My guy John Owning posted a video about Malik Hooker and was saying, Malik Hooker was so good in the box, and we talked about that. And I said, man, that surprised me because he never played that many snaps in the box, and he played that surprising role well. Kearse's coverage surprised me. Not because I thought he was a poor guy in coverage, but I didn't think he was that good in coverage. He was really damn good in coverage last year. I don't see how he gets worse. I think his role increases. He's the dude starting day one as opposed to after the season. Micah Parsons touched on this. We are light years ahead of where we were at this time last year. Compound that with having a guy like Malik Hooker next to him. Micah Parsons year 2, D-Law healthy, Neville healthy, the front in front of him. To keep it 100, you probably should have been focused on Jayron Kearse last year from a offensive coordinator standpoint. I don't know if they were. I'd have to talk to a former coach or whatever in the league, or player or whatever. But if you weren't, he could help wreck the game in a way. This year, with health on the Cowboys side, how do you pay attention to him? It's just going to be real hard to game plan with him, especially because he can be all over the place. Now, I want to stop short of putting him in Ed Reed territory and those guys. I'm going to stop short of that. But the reason why I say you kind of got to know where 27's at, because 27 can do so much, and he was effective in the backfield. He was effective at the line of scrimmage, and he was effective as a cover guy. So Jayron Kearse duplicates his season or gets just a little bit better. I don't see why he wouldn't be worthy of the Pro Bowl, or our version of worthy of a Pro Bowl, meaning he raised his level of play, or statistically he outperformed others. I think Jayron's just a fantastic player, man. At least he was last year. I understand throughout his career he wasn't the guy he was last year, but hey, man, sometimes it takes a while for certain players, and he got the opportunity. He talked about not really getting that opportunity and playing behind Anthony Harris in Minnesota and Harrison Smith, a Pro Bowler and a guy that had a lot of interceptions in 1 year. So it was tough, I guess, to break it. Then he got to Detroit and actually put on some good tape in Detroit as a box guy. But I just did not see him. I saw Jayron. If you go back and look when we signed him, I said, man, he's going to be a core special teams guy because he had been. He played like over 300 and some special team snaps a year with Minnesota, minus the 1 year he was hurt. And I figured, okay, he might be your fourth safety. And if so-and-so gets hurt, he can definitely come down in the box. I had no idea he'd come in and just be this damn good as your starter. So, fantastic find for the Cowboys. I just hope they aren't looking at Jayron as the model. Probably, what the hell do you mean? Oh, you know what? We can go out and get a journeyman, pay him pennies, literally less than like $2 million, probably less than $1 million, and hope he turns into a Pro Bowl player. That's not the way to go about it. He's an anomaly. He's not the norm. A-Hatch, 100% JK Pro Bowl 2023. All right, man, let's get back into this. Let me go ahead and lock this up because we got a packed house, man. We got a packed house. And let me go ahead and bring in, the Macho Man, Dandy Savage in the building. What's up, man?
Good morning, Sky. Good morning. I heard you mention Ed Reed.
Yeah, one of my favorite
Ed
safeties.
Reed's probably one of the best safeties to ever play the game.
Not probably.
So is. So Ed Reed and Kearse, forget about the same sentence. They can't be even mentioned on the same day. You know, they came. I mean, that's just my opinion.
He said,
I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place. Because I was a little late this morning. I caught the show. Maybe I missed about the first 20 minutes. So I signed on and I'm started hearing Schultz, Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is a joke.
Sure.
They should just get away. They should do away with the game because the game is turned into the NBA All-Star game where no one tackles. They just throw up 70 points. Let me tell you, 1992, Dallas' first Super Bowl in the 90s. They had the number one ranked defense. How many Pro Bowls do you think they had on that team, on their defense?
I don't think they had one.
0.
Yeah.
They had 0. So the Pro Bowl is a joke. It's a popularity contest. And honestly, lately, I think the Hall of Fame, all Hall of Fame is turned into the WWE's Hall of Fame. It's turned into a popularity contest. Because I can name a list of guys, not even Dallas Cowboys. I can name a list of guys who belong in Canton, and they're not. Now,
Danny, he be waking up choosing violence, man.
Say that again?
You be waking up choosing violence, bro.
Well, another thing with Tank. You know I'm not the biggest Tank fan. But Tank showed up week 13, and he played really good. It's very easy to show up at the end of the year healthy and fresh when everyone you're playing up against is beat up. Can Tank do that from game 1 to game 17?
Hold on, let me pause this music. What is wrong? Danny, who pissed in your Cheerios this morning, bro?
No, I haven't had none. I'm still on my first cup of coffee. It's like... No, listen. This is why I think Tank can have a good year because he's no longer the man that has to be blocked. Micah is. And now you have to worry about a lot more people on that defense. So Tank can get you a sneaky 6 to 10 sacks this year. You know, I'm not saying anything bad about him. He can. Listen, if Armstrong can get 6, I think Tank is a better defense. And I'm not a Tank fan, but I think Tank is a better defensive end than Lawrence Armstrong. So, I mean, I'm looking at, you know, and now you throw Sam Williams on that team. You know, so I think Tank can get you the 8 to 10 sacks. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Kellen Moore.
All right.
And this is just my opinion. How many times last year and the last few years, Dallas marches down the field And the second we get inside the 20-yard line, the offense stalls. Happens a lot, especially with Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
But the closer you get to the end zone, the harder it is to pass. And when teams knew we had to run the ball, we got stuffed. How many 4th and 1s we get stuffed last year? How many 4th and inches we get stuffed last year? All I'm trying to say is, and I'm sorry, you can take that 1,000 yards and throw it out the window.
Just forget about
it. Forget about it. I mean, over 16 games, it was 66 yards a game. Now I'm bad at math. What's 1,000 yards over 17 games? About 54? So you tell me someone rushes for 54 yards a game or something like that?
I'm not good at math.
66 and 2/3, like Scott Steiner would say. I know Scott Steiner math. That's the only math I know. So, like, I'm supposed to respect the guy for getting 1,000 yards over 17 games? No, that's not the benchmark anymore. And getting, like I said, I was all over the place with this call. Like, this is the perfect example of why we've won nothing. Dan Quinn is a great defensive coordinator. Why do you want to move him? Leave him there. How many great defensive coordinators become head coaches and fall flat on their faces? A lot of guys. Why do you want to, like, listen, everyone is good at something. Why do you got to change it? And, like, listen, I don't think Kellen Moore was a head coach.
Kellen Moore,
like you were saying before.
Kellen Moore better watch his back.
No, Kellen Moore is not one of those guys in your face just screaming, going to rile you up at halftime. He's not.
He's not.
He ain't that guy. He's the kind of guy that sits on the bench. It looks like someone just robbed him of his lunch money. That's the kind of guy he looks like. You need, like, when you're, you know I'm right. You're coaching men. These guys have to respect you.
Facts. That's why I don't think he'd be a head coach. I don't think he could be a head coach. They ain't gonna respect him.
No, I don't. I mean, if I had a choice, I would take Quinn over him as a head coach. And I don't want Quinn as a head coach. I want Quinn to run the defense. Like, our defense made our defense made such strides. And now you want to put the guy as head coach? I don't know. That was just my opinion.
I love your opinion, Danny.
Coach. I need my second cup, and gotta get in the gym. The comeback's on its way.
My God.
Everybody, you got to check in later on. 306.
Yeah.
Sky and Watch on the volume. If I got maybe a 4th cup of coffee, maybe I'll call in later.
Hey, listen, man. I don't know if we can handle 4 cup of coffee, Danny. Now.
Nah, 2. No, 2. 2's the limit.
Yeah. We want two and take a break. Take a break. Then you get another cup. They come on in the 3-ish mafia, bro.
You got it, Sky. Great call. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you as always, Dan. Made some points. Definitely made some points about Kellen. I don't look at him that way at all. But, hey, Danny, you're going to want to run this one back, brother. You couldn't hear the music in the background, but boy, was it fitting. It was fitting. So run that one back, man. I have a lot of fun with y'all. Y'all the best. Let's see. We got a couple super chats I want to get to, then we're going to get back into these phone lines. By the way, you did say something I was gonna interject, but I ain't trying to be swimming with them fishes, man. But you said, can Demarcus Lawrence do it in the first game? Demarcus Lawrence forced a fumble last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that helped turn that game around for the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah, he could do it in the first game if he's healthy. It's all about health, man. It's all about. Let's see. We had, is that today? That is today. Toxic Tom, appreciate you, brother, with the donation.
Super chat.
It says Kellen Moore as head coach, Jason Garrett as OC, Jerry Wet Dream. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? That's, come on, man. You put that out there. Miss Celine Peppers, appreciate you for the $5 donation.
Super chat.
And Coach Marvin in the building was good, Coach. He says, Sky, check the film as a rookie. The size and play of Osa is Michael Bennett Part 2. You remember the All-Pro Seattle Bennett. Osa, great rookie stats. My guy, Marv. In a way, it's kind of a little bit of a segue. So, I had D-Law, Jayron, and Dalton Schultz as potential guys to make the Pro Bowl. Remember the other day I said there was a player I really wanted to put on this list? I really wanted to do it, but I pulled myself back. It was Osa. And for a lot of different reasons, man. There's some phenomenal defensive tackles in the NFC. But this is probably because I just think that he can raise his level of play, Coach Marv. I think Osa can be that dude at defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. I've been saying it for a while. It could be one of those things where it'll come back and bite me in the butt. But it's just because, like you said, Coach, when you look on the film, at least before you hit that rookie wall, man, there's traits there. Man, there's the ability there to split double teams, to use those super long arms that he has, the quickness he got a bag. And he got some versatility. He was moving out, playing some little at 5 a little bit when the mad scientist Dan Quinn was doing some things. So I'm with you, man. I think I love the Michael Bennett comparison. I'm not gonna tell y'all who I said he reminds me of in the sense of his stature or whatnot, because y'all really would turn this thing off and cancel me. But there is some undersized ish to him. Now, Michael Bennett was DE side and DT side to defensive end, was fantastic Pro Bowl player himself. I ain't gonna be a Hall of Famer or nothing like that, but he was consistently just a really damn good, accountable defensive tackle in this league / defensive end. All right, let's get back on the horns. We got Los and D Shiffin in 737. What's up, Los?
Good morning, Sky. I'll make my point real quick since I know you got a lot of callers. So I'm going to just give you 6 names, and you tell me if you agree with it.
Hold on. Right, this is why I love Los. Los will call in here and be like, yeah, what's up, Sky? You guys talking about the top players to watch? I got 15 names for you, so get ready to write down these 15 names, and I'm going to give you the stats, too. All of them. So check it out. This is what you got to love about Los.
But now, I'll just give you my 3 guarantees for this year, making the Pro Bowl, and my wild cards.
Okay.
So my guarantees for sure is Micah, CD, and Dak Prescott. And my wild cards to maybe make the Pro Bowl is Kearse, Lawrence, and Diggs. And these are just names, in my personal opinion, that will have to maintain or step up their game to be a difference maker between a loss or a win this year. And I know, and it's going to come down to the Pizza Boy and Dan Quinn in these situations to put their system and players to succeed. And we all know we're only questioning one coach in this situation. So it's a wait and see how we're going to come out week 1. But, however, if Dak and CD are now opening that passing game, they can take away their Pro Bowl selection away, and our offense kind of looking rough while relying on Zeke and Pollard. And not that I don't trust Pollard. Pizza Boy hasn't shown me that he knows how to utilize it. So that's all, Sky. And you tell me what your thoughts from there.
So, you about to head out? Appreciate you, Los.
Yeah.
So, when I did this project of the Pro Bowl stuff, I forgot to emphasize the obvious ones I wanted to leave out. I think Micah obviously could be Pro Bowl. I think Zach Martin is one of the obvious ones. I don't necessarily think Dak is an obvious one because I think this year, from a statistical standpoint, and I know this might sound crazy, y'all, I think there could be, I don't think it's crazy. His numbers can decrease. Make sure y'all hear this. But his efficiency can improve. That doesn't always equate to Pro Bowl numbers. So what I mean is, I know the one caller said too many weapons could be a bad. Not for Dak. I mean, you got all those weapons, man. You can do some good things, and you saw it happen at the beginning of the year. But he may not throw for 4,900 passing yards and 37 touchdowns, but if he goes 42, 32 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and they're an 11-6 team, he's a completion percentage, 68%. He's back to getting those comeback drives and things like that. Technically, it's Pro Bowl numbers, but in the league right now where some of these quarterbacks are throwing 40 tutties, 5,000 yards or whatever, he could potentially not fall in that realm, and those guys get voted into the Pro Bowl. So for Dak, I don't necessarily think he needs to have a Pro Bowl year in the sense of statistically. If he does, though, like if he gets 40 touchdowns, 4,800 yards with these weapons, and this is no knock, it's just they're not the same weapons. It's different. You'll probably have to give him credit, but I'd wonder if Kellen Moore, right, would then deserve more credit, because I said this before to y'all plenty of times. I personally think the onus is going to be on Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, mostly the scheme, and then Dak to execute it, and then sometimes say, hey, this ain't it. We got to change things up, as opposed to these skill players, because this just be real. The skill players, in a way, or not in a way, they aren't the same, especially the stars. So, hope I made sense with that one. Sky, there'll be maybe 2, maybe 3 Cowboys that make the Pro Bowl. I think it was only, was it 5 last year, including the punter? And honestly, let me not disrespect Tyron, but Tyron just didn't play enough games. I was kind of wild that he got in. But again, that was the NFL version of the Pro Bowl. We talking about our version. We talking about statistically and play-wise that deserve to be there. All right, let's get to D Shift, man. What's up, D Shift?
Hey, what's going on, Sky? Man, I think as far as, Pro Bowl, you'd always have like something in Dak, I think, moving forward when you're talking about that Pro Bowl conversation, just because, man, you look at Chris Sims' rank, he finished 9 at top 40 quarterback rank.
Sure, I didn't see it, but
I was watching it. I kind of was a little taken back when he put Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson under him, just because those are those guys that typically they like to put above Dak.
Who was above? I don't do the list too much, but
well,
who was
they
above?
haven't. I don't think he's finished it, but by just deductive reasoning, you got Rodgers, Mahomes, and Allen, who I think you can solidify them as that top 3.
Absolutely.
But then the next 5 guys, I kind of have questions on, which was the only person who had a higher quarterback ranking than him or rating was Joe Burrow with like 108 quarterback rating this year, something like that, which I think he had the highest, but he had 34 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, which I don't know if Dak had a couple more fumbles. That could be where the rating is playing in.
A lot of fumbles.
But all the other guys, Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, Herbert, and Russell Wilson, those guys, they're going to be, other guys who are going to be put ahead of Dak. Their ratings weren't higher than Dak's. There were some numbers here and there. And, as far as numbers are concerned, Dak also missed that Vikings game, which I think that would have been another rating booster, so to say, because Dak's the only one that gets caught out on that, of course.
But he had him as a top 10 quarterback, though, right?
Yeah, he's not a top 10 quarterback.
That's all that. That's all that matters to me. Where people are going to put these dudes up there is subjective. And I'm gonna be fair here. I'm going to be very fair. I actually don't mind. I don't do the ratings or whatever, but I don't mind if anybody had Dak higher in the top 10, they kind of knocked him down to the lower in the top 10. And here's the one reason why I shift, and it's the one thing I want to see him get back to doing. I talk about this all the time. I just need to see him finish better. He was phenomenal at finishing his first 3 to 4 years in the league. But the last 2, he hasn't had as many of those game-winning drives and things like that. And he's had opportunities. And I know some of them have been taken away because of the defense, but there's been other times where that wasn't necessarily the case. So that's the one critique that if I had to say something else, it'd be also kind of getting the fumbles under control. But that's the one critique I would like to see him get back to doing, and that's finishing strong. Because I guarantee you the reason why people are putting guys like Stafford and them in front of him, they've always had the arm, like a better arm than Dak, but they finished better than Dak last year. So people are putting them above.
I think the arm can kind of be a little bit for, like, when you talk about receivers, right? Speed matters, but it's not always guaranteed to make a receiver great, right? Just because they're fast, And you think that's a very important part of being a wide receiver. But when you talk about Dak and you play quarterback play, you're not always in a position to have a perfect pocket. You're going to have a guy come in and hit you, right? And that was one thing that Chris Sims was kind of talking about his eliteness at is just his toughness and ability to take a hit, which doesn't sound as like quarterback, more of a necessity for a quarterback than, having a great arm and making those freak throws or but his ability to do that and be strong in a pocket, that's something I never really that's a criteria, you know what I mean, to kind of make him what is it about Dak. But I think something that's tangible as that, that can kind of just bring him, to keep him at a level that, when you say these guys that have these great arms, yes, but when you look at the production and, where things have been placed on Dak as just a quarterback, his beginning first years were, it was more of a running style offense. And this is the first year that he's had, look at this year and his rookie year, he had 104 quarterback rating. The rest of the years were like 98s, 99s or whatever. But the difference between now and his rookie year is that this team belongs to him, And so he was able to do that off the cusp of his arm. Wasn't the craziest numbers, but still above, he's up there now with those, at least making the stats. And so now it's about, him winning and finishing. But I think the biggest thing is when you talk about those quarterbacks and the system that they have, Dak really has never had a consistent
That's a whole
system.
other conversation there. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think if you can kind of create a system to where he still can put this team on his arm, but he can have more of a dependable running game, that's kind of, I guess, why I'm excited about them just kind of addressing and fixing these trenches, because I think if he can have a better pocket, if he can have a more dependable running game, I'd be very interested to see how much more efficient he would become, And like you said, forget
we
the
saw
stats. Yeah, we did see it. I think that's why we were real excited for it, because you had a defense and then you had a Dak who was really taking care of the ball and being a surgeon, and then it went away. And of course, with his injury, and you had the shuffles of the offensive line. Should Lyle start? Shouldn't he start? So hopefully more continuity on that O-line is going to make for, like I said, just kind of a surprising team. So I'll sit back, man. I know you got some phone calls. So
just one more. Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you, Chef.
All right.
I think it was Marcus who said in the chat, do we think Dak has hit his ceiling? I don't think so. And here's why. One, he's a ridiculous worker. He's smart. He obviously has the talent. And a lot of quarterbacks start to really ascend at this age. Once you get around your late 20s and early 30s, I think Romo talked about it. Manning talked about it. Breeze talked about it. You see things differently. Brady talked about it. Things slow down for you. This is a very tough position. And I want to say we might have had this conversation before, but this is, I think, that year where you want to see him take another mental leap from the quarterback position. From a physical standpoint, you want to see him be better because his ankle was messed up. Right? You want to see him move around better, get out better, run a little bit more. I'm hesitant on that. I'm very hesitant. Been fighting that. I don't know how I feel about it. I understand that's a very, very great part of his game, man, but just hasn't been great over the last 3 years with running. But from a mental standpoint, this is where quarterbacks start to master the game. They've seen almost everything you can throw at them. Now, last year, we saw something a little bit different. Neither him nor Kellen could adjust from it. And that's where maybe if you had like a more experienced coordinator, maybe that adjustment could happen quicker. But you got a healthier Dak Prescott going into this year. You hear about it. We had Chill on here. They talked about it. Kyle Yeomans talked about it. And it's something that hadn't happened over the last couple of years. He hadn't been present in that way, whether it be from injuries or the contract situation or what have you. But I think he'll be fine from a physical standpoint, barring injury. From a mental standpoint, I think he'll just continue to get sharper. It's just about finishing for me. It's that simple for me. I'm not even going to sit here and try to, like a lot of people are going to try to nitpick at everything. It happens all on Twitter all the time. I sit back and I just be like, man, y'all really going crazy. This dude is legit. There's areas to critique, and I think the one that no one ever talks about anymore is the finishing. That's it to me. That is it. He can do everything else. Just need you to get back to finishing. I don't know why we make this more than it needs to be for him. Maybe as Cowboy fans, there's that I only watch my team syndrome where people are like, he sucks, or somebody here say he's the 18th best quarterback in the league. I don't know if that's a troll or what, but that's goofy. But you go look around the league, like really watch those dudes as intently as you watch Dak Prescott, and I think you come back and go, damn, what the hell was I thinking? 18th. He sucks. Boy, man. If Dak Prescott sucks, there's only 4 good quarterbacks in this league. But I'm not about to sit here and even try to go into all, because I already know y'all probably going at it in here. That's just kind of where I'm at with it, y'all. I just think that he needs to finish. Get him to finish. I think that'll put all the detractors to bed. Because it's funny, the goalpost moves with this cat. Continues to move. We went over this last year when we talked about when Dan Orlovsky was coming on and whatnot. So I'm not going to do it again. That's how your show gets derailed. 737, man. Final call of the day. What you got for us? Or woman, I'm sorry.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy Dak Not Done Yet. I'm going to do a little quick recap, man. I've been here for an hour just listening in.
How crazy is that? Your screen name is Dak Not Done Yet.
That's my name. That's my gamer tag name. That's my name.
That's wild,
Dak
man.
Not Done Yet. Okay, Jace. Oh, okay, I heard y'all. Somebody was man, I think you got a bunch of bots, trolls in here, because everybody I heard talking about Schultz. Somebody said Schultz is another Jason Witten. Like what? How? Where? When? Like, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I like Schultz. Schultz is the beast. And, okay, and to go back to one other thing you said, Schultz never took a top off a team. Yeah, he has. I can't remember if it was the Eagles, New York. It's probably some sorry team, but he took a top off. Dak threw like 3 touchdown passes over the fucking defender's head. And like, he was running that game. They were trying to double team him. And, he was running that game. It doesn't happen often, but he did before. But he's nothing close to Jason Witten.
No.
Like, they used to game plan for Jason. When's the last time a team game plan for a tight end? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Not that kind of tight end.
It does not happen.
It happens with other teams. Yeah, sure. Gronkowski, Kelsey, probably Pitts is going to be the next guy in line. Andrews, because he's their number one target. Definitely Kittle.
But then when we played against them, we didn't double team. We didn't double team Gronk.
I'm not talking about Gronk in year 15. I'm talking about prime Gronk. I don't think people are super game planning against Gronk right now. You said what teams game plan against tight ends? Plenty of them when you're that dude.
But he's no close to Witten though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I agree. He's not.
What was the comparison?
I don't know. So I think a caller called in and said that he saw somebody.
Yeah, he was like, okay, let's move on. Okay, Zeke and Pollard. I understand people saying throw Pollard in more. No, I said more snaps. No, because I did a quick rundown on Pollard and Zeke. Pollard ran about 15 times in the middle, ever. Going straight down the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does not, like, he's not. I don't think he will last. If you put Pollard, know what I'm saying? If you, like, let's say they traded Zeke and they just had Pollard, I don't think Pollard will last. I know what I'm saying? Not at all.
I mean, okay, let's just play your game for a second. Because I wouldn't. I think Pollard. I think most teams should have 2 backs any damn way. I don't understand one workhorse back, but is it? Why do you think that? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, I don't think Pollard has the body type to take a pounding.
So you think he's just little?
I think Pollard try to stop blocks and get blown out. I think Pollard go against linemen, try to hit the A&B gap and get blown out.
Oh, did you? Hold on, because we about to find that video. Keep talking, brother, as you're talking about his block, and we're going to go ahead and show him actually doing well blocking. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, I seen a couple of good blocks, bro, but not. I mean, Pollard is not the. He does. I mean, I don't think Dak trusts Pollard more than he trusts Zeke, as far as blocking and watching his back. You know what I'm saying? I just know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. Like I said, I like Pollard. Pollard's explosive. He's fast. He's quick. He's like jittery. You know what I'm saying? But Zeke is more like a downfield runner. You know what I'm saying? You hit me, I'm gonna hit you too. Sure. Pollard's more. If you hit me, I'm gonna juke you. I'm a turn.
I mean, I don't think you're not saying anything wrong, but the only thing is we just don't have proof that Tony Pollard can't handle a game or two of toting the rock because he really hasn't been in that situation a bunch. But he ran off the left guard, middle left, middle right, and right guard 12, 17, 20. So over like 70 times. So when you said he only ran up the middle 15 times ever, I'm just saying that's factually
What was
incorrect.
His production?
So off of the left guard, 4.1 yards per carry. Middle left, 3.3. Middle right, 6.3. Off the right guard, 4.4. And then if you go outside, his numbers go way up.
Okay, this must have been like sprinkled, like here and there.
I'm just reading off his rushing directions, brother.
Okay. Like I said, I mean, I'm not saying you're the professional. I'm just the caller. But I'm just looking outside in. Like I watch a lot of tape. I watch a lot of football. I'm a diehard fan. I'm not a homer. I'm a diehard fan. Like I said, I
understand what you're saying, right? Like Tony Pollard's not a battering ram, and you'd be silly to use him that way. I just always have to just kind of caution people to relax when they say that Tony Pollard can't, when in fact he can. Right, he's in a system where he doesn't need to ram up the middle. But I've seen him have productive.
I think he can if he has to. If they just didn't have him and they just have Pollard will have to step up. Yeah, he'll have to pray. Step up his way, do this, do that. I think he can, but as of right now, I don't think that's him.
Right, I personally. Yeah, you want him to be more of a complimentary back. I agree. I think both Zeke and him should be complimenting each other. That's the best way to get the best out of both of them. At this stage in Zeke's career, I don't think you want him toting the rock 25, 30 times a game, man. I just don't, because it's been 2 years in a row where he gets dinged up. And you want to keep him as fresh as possible, but also as efficient as possible, in my opinion.
Exactly, and then if you do that, I think Zeke will be more fresh. Pollard, you know what I'm saying? Pollard would get his carries. I think just like when we did that for a short period of time last year, the defense was confused. You know what I'm saying? They was confused because they had Zeke and Pollard. They didn't know who was getting the ball.
Oh, yeah. Give me some more 20 personnel all day and tomorrow. I freaking love that. You got the running backs to do it. In fact, I think you got a more versatile running back set than Cleveland to run the 20 personnel, but that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You know what I'm saying? And this year, I don't know. And this I want to get down to. This year, I don't know. Every other year, it seems like, okay, you know how you go by the chess pieces? On the chessboard, you got the glass ones, the real nice ones. That been for the last couple of years. We're getting all the sexy pieces, all the sexy trades and stuff like this. I think now we're getting that old, that rusty, you know what I'm saying, a chessboard, the ones that's real strong, you know what I'm saying. I just think that we're not going after the really pretty pieces. I think we're going after the pieces that we actually need. It's just like that old school movie with Michael Irvin. When they get off the bus, they all, know what I'm saying, dressed all crazy, and they go and beat the mess out that team.
I hear you, man.
I think that's what we're going to be this year. I think that's the type of pieces, the type of mindset that everybody has. Micah, D-Law, like everybody has that type of mindset. They just want to put somebody in the mouth this year. Prove everybody wrong. And and then going to Dak. Dak always been in this position. If you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, you know Dak. You know he's always been second at everything. He always had to fight his way. And I'm telling you, Dak has a different mindset this year. I can see it in his speeches. I can see it in his eyes. When I know what I'm saying, I can see it. I'm telling you, he's going to be a different animal this year. People look at Dak and say, oh, no, he's not. He's top. Somebody said top 18. That's bullshit. Say, no, he's top 10, no, I'm saying top 11 quarterback. I think he's more close to top 5, top 6. I'm telling you, he's going to be a beast this year. Zeke is going to give you a different type of game that you ain't seen in a while. A different type of game you ain't seen in a while. You know what I'm saying? They're going to use Tony Pollard, but Zeke is going to give you that. I ain't going to say 2016, let's say 2017 type Zeke. Your thoughts?
On what? It was a lot there to cover. Yeah. And I'll get to it, man. I think Dak, I don't think I need Dak to be a different beast, right? I just need him to finish. Like Dak Prescott can do it all for you as a quarterback position. I just need him to finish is how I look at it. As long as Zeke stays healthy, I think Zeke and Tony Pollard can be a formidable running back duo if the offensive line blocks. But I got to push back on you, brother. There's no way in hell the Cowboys have been signing sexy players over the last 6 years.
You don't think so?
No way.
With the CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons.
That's drafted. Those are drafted.
Okay. Maybe I missed. Yeah. Okay. No, what draft our sign? I just last couple of years, and even going back to that, it's just been like somewhat of big name players. And yeah, every time we pick them, they always have something to say about them.
I mean,
but
wait. You're not complaining about taking Dez and CD and Micah, right?
No. Okay. I'm not like that other caller Tom had too many good players. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
But no, I ain't taking nothing, especially from Dez. That was my guy.
Right.
Like I still believe in Dez. Like that. Like no, I mean, he was the dog. He was the dog. Everybody talk about he always fights on the sideline. No, he was a dog. He like winning. He hate losing. When he win against if Dez, I think if Dez would have won a Super Bowl, he would have walked to the coach and said, "Who's next?" That's Dez.
Yeah, I think this new crop is about attitude. I think is where you were getting at. Like it's not a sexy draft in a way, but it's not. I hate to use that sometimes. It's not because you got a lot of players that need a lot of work, and you're looking at them as for the future, not necessarily to contribute right away. Unfortunately, though, you're going to need Tyler to do so, man. But hey, listen, bro, appreciate the call. Feel free to call back in again, man.
Oh yeah, I'm always on, bro. Always on. Dak not done yet. Out.
Dak not done yet. How ironic. We're talking about Dak, and then I didn't even know who it was. Dak not done yet. A lot there. I had to bring up that list because I'm like, wait a minute, he think we signed it. We signed all these amazing. Just misspoke is all. Just misspoke. Y'all in here getting it in. I seen somebody said the chat is spicy. So we are in overtime, and we ain't gonna be in overtime for too much longer. So we're gonna get back into this chat, see what y'all talking about, and roll up out of here. Ghostface Thriller says priority number 1, establish an identity. Boy, we do not have one. I want to go back and find a couple of them. Coach Marv, man. He said, there you go. Coach said, Sky, taking what the defense gives you all the time, Kellen, limits the production of your stars, but helps role players act like stars, i.e. Schultz. Sky, please comment. You're not wrong. Didn't Mike say something like this? We can't be having our stars that looking like role players and our role players looking like stars. I cannot stand the take what the defense gives you mentality in big games, in big moments. I get it. If you have to do that throughout the season, I get it. You're playing the Giants. Like, all right, listen, if they're going to try to take away Coop, yeah, boom. Sam will kill you because y'all ain't good enough. But when it's big-time moments, there's no way Tony Pollard should have 3 touches. There's no way CeeDee Lamb should only get targeted 5 times and have, 1 or 2 receptions, and one of them came at the end of the game. There's just no way. In fact, you're going to have to stop me from going to Cooper and going to Lamb and going to Tony and going to a healthy Zeke or whatever. There's just no way. So, like most things with the Cowboys, because they're scared to commit fully to any damn thing, there has to be some type of balance in regards to that approach, Coach. You cannot every game, and that's the smugness I hate about Kellen Moore. I told you, I don't mind arrogance. Don't mind confidence. Hell, I don't even mind you being smug if you got the skins on the wall to do it. But he's just so, man, listen, man, this is what, man, come on, man. Hold on. For those who don't know, hold on. Hey, Vach, I hope you watching, Vach. Look at my eyes, yo. Look at my eyes, yo. I know what I'm doing, y'all. Huh? Question me. Tony Pollard only got 3 carries. Yeah, it's part of the plan. CeeDee Lamb, 1 was part of the plan. I know what I'm doing. Don't question me. What my guys say? Forget about it. I don't like it, Kellen. You ain't that dude to me. I digress. And the glasses is this is why you got to tune into the volume later on. 3:06 Central to the Vosh Lombardi live show. A lot of fun stuff there. And then B Bird, I think he said he wants Dak to be more aggressive. I don't disagree with that. I like a little bit of gunslinger. Especially from a guy who is not necessarily a gunslinger, right? Because I trust him to take care of the ball. So certain times I'm like, yo, just see what we got. And he does. Like there's times where Dak will put it in these windows and lay it up in the breadbasket, going deep and things like that. The one thing though, I wonder if things would be different. And I don't know why they don't emphasize this, Cowboys Nation. I wonder if things will be different from a deep shot standpoint, because from an efficiency standpoint, he's been one of the best deep ball passers in the league. But from a volume standpoint, you don't really see it. I think the scheme has a lot to do with it and the personnel. For the life of me. Maybe this will be a research project. I do not know why the Cowboys do not emphasize speed offensively. I don't know. I ain't talking about 4 or 5. And I get it. Some people say speed doesn't matter. In a way, it doesn't when you got guys who aren't specialty players. Like, I don't need CeeDee Lamb to run a 4-3-4-2. I don't need Coop to run a 4-3-4-2. I don't need Gallup to run a 4-3-4-2. But if you had a speed tight end, or if you had a speed slot, or if you had a speed 4, like a guy to stretch that field, we've seen it on different teams where just a random guy, a Torrey Smith, you know what I'm saying, a Dante Stallworth, somebody to stretch the field. I wonder if that would, hey, listen, I know he gonna go get it. We don't really got that. What we got is, all right, yeah, Michael Gallup might not blaze past you, but I don't really need him to, because if he's even, he's leaving. I'm just going to throw it up and we get a 50-50 ball. You sometimes, I'm just thinking out loud. Bear with me here. Is that something where I'm like, I want to do that a whole lot? I don't know that I want to continue to throw up a ton of 50-50 balls because he's a 50-50 ball catcher. You do that in spots, you pick and you choose them, you get your matchups or what have you. But how many times? This is no joke. I look around the league, man, and I'm seeing, and Tyreek Hill, I get it, right? But I'm seeing some of these speed dudes just running free. And the quarterback just throws it up, catch it. Nobody's around him, or they got him beat by 3 yards. How many times do we see that in Dallas? Whether it be from a schematic standpoint, getting them open, whether it be from the athlete out-athleting you. It's not often you see that in Dallas because they don't emphasize the speed. And then when they get a guy like Tavon Austin, they don't use him. Let's go back to the time machine. Dak was killing those deep balls with Bryce Butler when he was here. Had a couple nice deep shots to Bryce Butler. So, yeah, Jalen Guyton, he over there, or was over there in L.A. But, yo, I appreciate y'all sticking with me throughout that entire rant. Just something I was thinking about. Like, Dallas just doesn't really emphasize that speed. And I don't mean just, what's the cat? Tutu Atwell. I ain't talking about that, right? Like a receiver, legitimate receiver that can legitimately threaten you deep down the field with his speed. And he's not a gadget guy. You know? If you want to get a gadget guy, get him, but use him. All right. Yeah, Miss Sheila, you are late. It was some fireworks today in the chat, man. Y'all the best. Truly, truly, truly the best. The phone lines were lit today. If you are just coming up in here, if you are new, by the way, if you're new, did y'all notice? It worked. Did you notice the setting to be subscribed worked? We didn't get, at least I didn't see, a single bot up in here, man. So shout out to y'all, the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
I'm going to try to remember to do this every single stream that I can remember. You have to be subscribed to comment on the live stream. It kept the bots out today. That was amazing. So we'll continue to do it. I'm pretty sure, like all things YouTube, these stupid bots will figure it out and we'll have to see what's up. But until then, it worked. It worked. So if you're watching and you can't subscribe, you just jumped in here, or you can't comment, it's because you ain't subscribed. So hit that subscribe button. If you not quite sure yet, you're not sure if you're feeling the show, you want to check out more shows, go look. We got tons of videos and shows that we do here. I personally think, man, this is one of the best Cowboy shows out there and has a whole lot to do with you guys being a part of it, man. So I appreciate that. So on your way out, hit that like button. Later tonight, our guy Mo will be back on. He'll be talking about, I don't know what he'll be talking about, but he'll be back on about 8 p.m. I don't want to say ish. He's usually on time. 8 p.m. Central. And then make sure y'all got those bell notifications clicked. I'm going to drop the Bobby Belt interview today. I mean, he was on Monday, but some people don't get a chance to watch the show. So we'll put out the entire interview later today. Yeah, B-Bird, we at, 16.6 thousand subscribers. You guys continue. And I said this before. I sometimes forget that is happening because y'all don't understand this. Look. My dog trying to get in here. But when the show's over, almost immediately, I'm like, all right, let's start to put the next thing together. What I got to do here? I'm in work mode. I'm in grind mode that I forget and I don't see. But 16.6, we're on our way to 17. And we're going to hit that 20 sooner rather than later, man. Y'all are
Bomb Squad!
Y'all the best, man. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and press this button and get on up out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your hump day. Yeah. D-Jax. Below wants to see Mozart. I shut the door today. I don't like to do that, but I shut the door. Maybe another day, man. All right, y'all be easy. Appreciate y'all, Bomb Squad. Enjoy the rest of your day. Love y'all. Peace.
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.